Hello and welcome to Infinite Respawn. I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Grif. We're a few people short. Usually we have Baka and Chicken, but not today.
This is like old school. I feel like I should have gone into the whole, hey, welcome to Infinite Respawn, where there's no such thing as game over, right?
Just throw it back, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Chicken's sick and Baka is out dealing with some family stuff, so Chicken will hopefully be better next week. Baka will be back as soon as he can, and I don't know when that'll be. So we'll see on that, which also means...
Well, at least be a trio.
Yeah, I mean, next week there'll at least be 3 people, assuming that Chicken doesn't actually have, like, the plague. Because today is the first day, and he looks so sad. I wish you guys could, I wish you could see it, but then I don't want you to, because he's so legitimately sad. I feel so bad for him. But hopefully he'll be feeling better next week. The last sickness he had for, 2 days, and I had it for a week. So hopefully this time I'll have it for 2 days and be fine.
Well, the good thing is we have a lot of catching up to do because of the amount of time that it's been since the last time.
Yeah, it's been quite a while.
So that works out good.
Yeah, it was the holidays, and then we had something that happened right before the holidays, and all this crazy shit. So what are we, 3 weeks out since our last show? A month out from our last show?
I think it's a month.
Okay, so what did you do all last month?
Wow.
It's a good thing there's not a whole lot of news today. We can just go through everything we've been doing.
I got on there. I still have not finished Darksiders 2. I'm a good ways through the game. I'm enjoying it. Yeah, I know, right? The problem is I got addicted to Californication, and so I was watching a lot of it at the same time. Because it is one of my favorite shows, so it's kind of like, okay, well, I'll just watch a little bit, and then marathon. We did that, and I've played a little bit of minor games in between, just like picking some games and playing and things like that.
So stuff that you picked up on the Steam winter sale for $2.
Actually, I bought 2 things I think off of the Steam sale, and that was it because I limited myself. I'm limiting.
Proud of you.
And what I mean by limited myself is most of it said in library when it was popping up, so I limited myself on what I was buying.
Steam limited you.
Yeah. So I did buy a few games that were on there. One of them was very interesting, and I'm interested to really get in and play it. It's basically learn Japanese in order to win the game. That's
yeah. It's called Learn Japanese something, right?
Yeah, learn the Japanese to win the battle of something, right? And it's like, what?
Super descriptive name.
You know,
I mean, it's accurate.
At least they tell you what it is, right?
Yeah.
And the idea behind it is, for those of you that aren't aware of the game, because I didn't know it existed, I paid $1 for it, I think. But it's set up. It looks kind of like Pokemon in the way that it's that top view, typical Japanese style, move around one little character and go from one point A to point B, meeting people along the way. And what they're going to do is they're actually going to speak Japanese to you with the Japanese characters. So as they do that, you learn the Japanese characters in order to learn how to speak Japanese. Well, read it, really, right? So you learn to read Japanese as you go along, and that's how you progress through the game. Well, the other cool option they gave to it, let's say that you get to a part and you go, oh my God, I can't remember this, or it's been a long time since I've played this, can't remember whatever. They actually allow you to lower the difficulty, so you could go back in some of the lessons in order to get to that part.
Oh,
so I thought that was
it's
kind of a cool concept, the way that it was done. So I did download that one and put it on there. I just haven't got a chance to play. I planned on playing it on my trip, and it didn't happen at all. None. None. I was like, playing it. No, didn't happen. So that was pretty cool. That I got a few games off of the Steam sale, and not a whole lot more off of that. But I did get... A friend of mine brought his PlayStation 4 VR over to the house.
How was that?
Oh my God. This is the first time I ever had to deal with VR or anything like that. And it comes with a little demo disc. For those that aren't familiar with the PlayStation VR, it does come with a demo disc of games that are options to play. And so we played through some of those games, and they were really fun. Well, he bought the full version of the Until Dawn, I think it's called Rush of Blood or something like that. It's their roller coaster horror house, right? That shit is scary as fuck. I'm just gonna say that now.
How many of you grown men screamed like little girls?
Yeah, the only thing is he didn't have the Move controllers.
Oh.
So
How do you
if
play
you're
it
gonna
without
buy, they have a set that you have to buy the move that you can get the move controllers with it, but you need to have those move controllers really to be able to play the games as well as you need to. And in this case, the reason why you do is because you have two guns. Well, if you have one controller you're using the thumbsticks to spread your arms apart.
Ugh.
Yeah, and so it's like it's very difficult to shoot and line things up and do things like that. Or you can move the whole controller, I guess, but then you're double shooting everybody. And it's funny because your arms will do weird stuff. They'll do like this
Because
odd.
it's still that first person weird perspective in VR.
Yeah, so you'll do that. It is fun to be in the room as well, because in the room when you're watching the game, it's very far away and in 4:3. Now, for those of you that don't know what 4:3 format is, when we had televisions that weren't HD TV, like the old console, you go to grandma's house and you have the large console television sitting there on the floor, and we all thought, oh my God, our TV's so big. That is 4:3. The old format before we had HD TV, that's what it was. It wasn't widescreen 16:9 that we have now. So it's 4:3 on the screen. It's very strange, but everything looks far away. So I'm sitting here playing a game, and this demon pops up. And I'm like, okay. When I started this game, I was like, there's some crazy shit that's going to happen. And I know I cuss like a sailor anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I had asked Mrs. Tree to come down and see this stuff at least so she could kind of see what was going on. I was trying to get her to play it, but she wasn't going to do any of that. So,
Nice.
So she came down and was watching it. This demon pops up on the screen. Now, what they see is, if you watched our show, the distance that I currently am from the camera is about what they see. So it's still large, but it's not, to where you can just freak out about it, right?
Right.
What I see is death coming at me as fast as possible, and all I can scream is fuck to the top of my lungs. And it was probably 11 o'clock at night, and I am just fuck. And she's like, really, you need to cut down the cussing. I was like, did you see what just happened?
And she's like, yeah, nothing big deal. Just, what are you doing? Shut up.
It's just crazy, absolutely. So we've enjoyed it. We were swapping back and forth. I had a friend of mine that was over, though actually the guy that owned it, he was the one that was over the house, and while he was over, he and I would swap back and forth between missions, and we would laugh at each other because we were screaming. The best thing I've seen on it so far, there was a movie on the demo disc that it was only like 5 minutes of a movie. Wasn't very much. That looked kind of claymation. But What was really cool is I could stand up and actually walk around on the inside of the movie to different parts of what was going on. So everything was like, if you were watching a regular movie, you could sit down and watch this whole thing in front of you take place. But I could actually, there was a flying ship that came by, and I could actually stick my head inside the flying ship and see everything on the inside of it. I could get closer. I could pull back. I could walk around the entire little city that it was at. Everything that was on there. It was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. Totally recommend. Once they get more stuff out, I totally recommend, if you're a PlayStation fan and you don't have VR, to go ahead and get that. If you're a PC person, I definitely recommend getting the PC VR, just because your options are going to be a whole lot more, even though it's going to be costly. And I think at CES they announced that there's going to be some new changes and stuff made to the Vive as well. So that'll that kind of boost it too. I'm glad I haven't spent $800 yet on a thing they're just now changing. So
Yeah.
so that's good. So as upgrades come, it's good. They've got I think a headpiece on the Vive now to eliminate the cord issue.
That's nice.
So that'll be cool. There's going to be a lot of technology, I think, moving towards that VR system. It did make me nauseous when I first started. So I would be cautious about it. I would, if you're not sure if that's something that you're going to get a nauseous with or not, I would definitely go to a friend's house or find somebody that has some type of system that's similar before you spend the money on it because it can make you nauseous in certain cases. But the car racing was cool too. First person view, scary because you feel like you're driving 100 miles an hour. That type of stuff too. So definitely recommend.
Put a fan in front of you so it feels like you're
right?
going. Yeah, see?
Yeah. Make sure you have a trusted friend that's in the room, by the way.
So not me.
Yeah, not somebody that's gonna fuck with you the whole damn time. Yeah. Make sure you have a trusted friend that's in there and that was the good thing about swapping between the two people, is because we didn't want to mess with each other because we knew the other one was gonna get messed with.
Yeah.
So we were like, no, we're not doing that. So we played nice while we were playing the scary game, and the demo stuff was cool. Some of it's just racing stuff. Some of it's like adventure things, and it's cool to be in a world that you can actually turn your head and look around and see everything that's around you. They do have movies and stuff that are kind of like aquariums and things like, or not aquariums, but like you're in the ocean. So I guess aquarium like. And you can kind of look around like that. One of the cutest things, which is a free download on PlayStation, and I don't know if you can watch it or not without the VR, but it's called Invasion, I believe is what it's called, and you're a bunny rabbit. And it's just a movie, but you're inside of it or whatever, and you have this little bunny friend that comes over and sees you or whatever, and these two aliens come down. It's like a 10-15 minute movie that you're just standing in the middle of, and you get to watch and look around and things like that. So definitely recommend it. Definitely.
I just want to know when I can play BioShock in VR, because I'll never leave the house again.
Well, the other thing is too, VR has a capability, and PlayStation has a capability, and I'm assuming VR does too. Like I said, I was addicted to Californication, so I wanted to see what I was capable to do with the VR. I pulled Netflix up through the VR system, and you can change the screen size. Like it has small, medium, large.
Right.
Large would be like an IMAX screen. Like what you're looking at looks like an IMAX screen. The only problem I have is it tends to drift. So if I keep my head straight, every once in a while I'm having to adjust the screen and move it back into play, or I have to turn my head to where it's at. So that is something they need to fix, which I think is just a software update.
That's weird.
I don't think it's a mechanical thing. But it was definitely cool to see, because I put Star Wars on, I put different stuff on just to kind of see how it would look. It was different. It would not be my choice all the time. I think it would be one of those things, really, if they could end up making it smaller, that you just wanted to lay in bed and not bother the person next to you. Like you just lay back and, watch a movie or whatever and do that type of thing. But it would not be something I would, do on a regular basis for sure. I just watch a regular movie the way I normally do.
Right.
So still pretty cool.
Well,
what you do?
I did a lot of stuff. You're like, I only did a few things. I'm like, yeah, well, let me pull out my list here. Because it's been a while since we've been here. So one of the things that I picked up that was on sale, I did not pick it up through Steam because the trilogy was more expensive that way, I think, and I don't think I could get the first one. There was one that was missing. I picked up the Mass Effect series. I bought it through Origin for like $15 for all 3 games. So I am 100% interested in playing that now that I have played other BioWare RPGs, Dragon Age. Not so much because I think that it's going to be like the combat. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy as much in some of the, especially the first one, because I've played a little of that. But I think I am willing to, at this point, slog through it, because I know their character development and their story is worth it in the end. The only downside is I know roughly what happens by the end of 3, so I know my choices don't matter as much, but I'd like to see the world building and the character development up until that point. And I'm interested in it because I finally went back. I'm a huge Dragon Age Inquisition fan. It was my first exposure to the series. I have now played the series backwards, because I played 2 over Christmas. So I've gone all the way through Dragon Age 2 now, which was lovely and fantastic. And I love that my hawk could be 100% sarcastic all the time. Like, I don't know how many times I stopped and went, oh my God, that's burned. Somebody got burned. Oh my God. And my partner, like my party chat was all the time, because I took Fenris and Anders, who have completely opposite agendas. Like, Fenris is super anti-mage, Anders is a mage who is super, like, anti-chantry, anti-circle, all this stuff, and so them together was like, I hate you too, no, seriously, fuck you guys, and, like, I'm just standing here the whole time in front going, alright, They'll shut up as long as Andrews heals me and Fenris hits things. I don't care if they hate each other. It was hilarious. And then I started Origins. Chicken finally talked me into it, because before I was like, I'm just not so sure about it. And we have it on PC. Chicken actually already had it. And I was like, I don't know if I want to play it on PC, because I played everything else on console. I'm glad I'm playing it on PC, because the combat is so fuck awful. I cannot imagine playing it with a controller.
Really?
Yeah, like the combat, it's because it's an earlier game, and the combat was just not ready. Like, BioWare had a great idea of how to write a story and how to present that story and give you choices within it and everything else about it. But the combat, it's like, click on this one guy and hit him. You have, like, a handful of abilities. I mean, you've got plenty of abilities. I guess I will not discount that. They give you a lot of abilities, but it's like, use these whenever there's one up. It doesn't really matter as long as you can hit them. Try not to get in the other NPCs' ways, because they'll get stuck on you. Pick the one that's the enemy that's closest to you, or else you'll get stuck on the enemies trying to get to the one you want. It's just, the combat is so lacking, and I am slogging through the combat because I love the story and I love the people, and Alistair's the doofiest, cutest human being in a game I have ever met. So I'm willing to, like, earlier today.
So basically, if you had not ever played Inquisition and you decided to start with the original stuff,
I might never have gotten to Inquisition.
Okay. That's just what I needed to know. So it's just basically, okay. So,
but, I mean, I love, again, the party banter is great. I was, for a little while, I was like, there doesn't seem to be as much party banter in Origins as there is in the later ones. But then they finally started talking to each other, and a lot of times it's Alistair and Wynn are the two of my party that are there constantly, because Wynn is my healer and Alistair's my tank, and I also love Alistair. Earlier today, Wynn stopped to explain to Alistair where babies came from. And Alistair's like, I hate you. You're a wicked woman, and this nice old lady thing is a facade, and now I see through it. Like, they're kidding with each other, they're messing with each other, but it's so funny how they interact, and I can't wait to play Mass Effect and see how that translates over to a sci-fi world as opposed to, like, a fantasy run around with swords world.
Now, you've never played Mass Effect at all, right?
No, I've played a little of the first one, and I got to the driving section and said, fuck this shit. Because that car handles like a fridge on wheels.
To be fair, the driving section in the first one is the god-awfulest driving on any game I've ever played.
That's why I gave up. It was a long time ago, but... Yeah,
so I to be fair, it's bulky, it's horrible, you're correct, it's fridge on wheels, basically. The good thing is it's not necessary all the time either. Like,
thank God.
Yeah.
I mean, I played this is how long ago it was. I played or tried to play the first Mass Effect in readiness for the second Mass Effect to launch. So it's been a while. And I mean, obviously I've gotten better as a gamer since then as well. So I'm hoping that I can go back and like suck it up and be like, this sucks. I hate you, BioWare, and get through it anyway. That's kind of what I'm doing now with the combat in Dragon Age. There's so many times that I have to go get Chicken, because a lot of it you have to be way more tactical about in the old one too. So I'm like, can you come help me? There's this room full of people, and I just keep getting wrecked every time I open the door. So he has to come in here and like coach me through it. Like, I'll be the one playing, but he's like, all right, pause, make Alistair take a potion. You go attack that guy, set Wynn to do this. You send Liliana over there. Okay, go. Okay, pause again. Like, it's so strategic, and that is not how I play usually.
Let's see, that's the original Knights of the Old Republic when it came out, which, by the way, is now available on mobile. Yes.
Okay.
The original Knights of the Old Republic when it came out was set up to where you could. It would do the same thing. It would stop every time you had something to do. You had to stop, and you could do up to 3 moves, and then you had to stop again, and you continue to do that. What made Mass Effect what Mass Effect is the fact that you had a choice. Do I want to do it that way, or do I want to go ahead and play and do what I want to do? And now what they do in most games, right, is where you hold down an LB or an RB button, and it tells you different stuff that you can do, and you can go ahead and send it through. So it's doing the same thing, but you're manually pausing the game in order to make it happen, versus the game pausing, and then you have to do something, right?
Well, it's in Dragon Age, it's manual pause, and it doesn't like make you, and it lets you queue up 1 move per character. So you can be like, When's gonna take a potion? I'm gonna swap to Alistair so I can reposition him. My person's fine. Liliana's fine. Okay, go. Okay, stop immediately again. Like, spacebar is my best friend. Spacebar pause. Spacebar go. Spacebar pause. Oh my god, what are we doing?
So now, are you slowly like BioWare fangirling right now? I mean, is this like
A
one of those
little bit, yeah. No, I will like fully Dragon Age fangirl. Like, I don't know, I can't speak for Mass Effect just yet. It's on my list. It's gonna be done. But Dragon Age, man, I know Chicken calls it RPG light, and I feel like the RPG gets heavier the further back in the series that you go. There's more choices and more talking in this one for sure than there is in something like Inquisition, and 2's kind of in the middle with it. But
Right.
I like the RP aspects, and I told Chicken, I think yesterday, I was like, I'd rather do just the RP of this game, like the RPG aspect of it, than the combat aspect of it, because combat is what is dragging me down here. I want to go, like, I finally got to the dwarves, and there's a lot of politicking and everything that you have to do with them, so I'm doing all of that stuff, and I'm enjoying that way more than fighting things, which is weird for me, personally, because I'm usually like, okay, I'm glad that there's a good story, let me go hit something. Now I'm like, no, hitting things later. Now let me talk to you.
Mass Effect has a really good story, and I think it does a really good job of making sure you that you kind of have a good balance between the two.
Right.
But there is a lot of dialogue, but I enjoy some of the dialogue, because some of the stuff is, I can go talk to this NPC that has nothing to do with anything else in the world, but I'm going to go talk to him anyway because he's kind of cool. He's blue, and I want to go talk to him, whatever,
well, that's how it is in Dragon Age, too. Like, you can just talk to some of the people, and some of them just have, like, one talk string that they'll repeat every time you click on them. Others are like, here's a little cutscene. It doesn't really have anything to do with the story, but you talk to somebody in town. Good job. I'm like, yay, I talked to that guy.
So Mass Effect Andromeda is coming up.
Yeah, it finally got a release date. Finally.
Yeah, March 21st in North America and March 23rd in Europe, which is kind of weird. Like,
well, we get our games on Tuesdays and they get theirs on Fridays.
Yeah, but Tuesday would be the 21st, 22nd, 23rd would be a Thursday. So are we Wednesday and they Friday, or are we?
Now I haven't looked at a calendar.
Yeah, I haven't
Why
looked
do
at
you
the
do
calendar.
this?
I don't know. That's just weird.
It's a Tuesday for us. Yeah, it's a Thursday. Okay, Thursday.
So they get a Thursday. That's very odd.
Why?
Congratulations, Europe, for not getting a Friday. I don't know. What do you do with that?
I don't know.
You get a long
Take an extra
weekend.
day off work.
I would, if I have to guess, I would say that our friend Wraith Dub is going to end up being off for like a full week for that. So it's good that they already gave him the time off for that. You know, they gave him the date, so he knows time off.
They shot off new combat stuff, like new combat footage for that. I watched that. It seems interesting. Like, I like the look of that combat. I don't know. I haven't watched the combat from any of the other games. Aside from some of 2, I watched Cloud stream it at some point. But this combat looks really streamlined. I like it. I'm kind of interested to see. I really hope that I like the series enough to want to play Andromeda when I get there.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I've got to finish 3, which means I've got to start over. Because like I remember who I romanced in 1. I remember the plot line of 1. 2, I could probably just start there and I'd be fine. Get done with that and then start up on 3. And then they changed, because everybody bitched about the ending of 3. I think they changed it with a DLC.
Yeah, they added a patch or a DLC or something that was supposed to correct the ending.
Yeah.
It's like, that's cheap. Either one, stay by your ending, or 2, maybe you should have waited.
But to be fair, for us that didn't finish the game, and you who haven't played the game, we would never know the difference.
Maybe. It depends. If it's DLC, I think we'd know.
Well,
but then again, I kind of feel similarly about Dragon Age Inquisition, which I know Ivy is probably listening to this. I have not forgotten. It is my next Let's Play, I swear to God, and I'm going to put it on my channel so that I don't fill up the Infinite Respawn channel with like 6 billion hours worth of Dragon Age. But they had the end of the game of Inquisition, and then they gave Trespasser, which was a DLC, and Trespasser feels like the real end of the game to me. Like, when I do the Let's Play, that's the only DLC that I will include with the game, because it feels like that's the end. So maybe that's what happened with this one?
Maybe. And it's a possibility that maybe that's where everything's trending, too, and I don't like that, because especially the problem that you had with the recent Deus Ex, right? Which,
yeah, where it doesn't feel finished.
Where obviously they're trying to make a trilogy out of one game. But there's a lot of gameplay in a Mass Effect game, and Dragon Age as well. Because of the dialogue, everything else that's on there. Same thing with Witcher
Give me a minute.
series. I mean, could you imagine if the third Witcher game if they made it a trilogy instead of,
See, I haven't played it, so I don't know. Maybe. I think Chicken bought it on the Steam sale. I think we now own that, maybe, because he said you'll want to play it. So, or when he said you, he means me, not you.
Have you played the first and the second one?
Nope. Never played Witcher before, so I guess I'm going to do the same thing with Dragon Age, is just go backwards, because if I like 3 enough, then I will enjoy the characters and go...
The controls on the 1 are a little bulky. That's why
I want to do backwards.
I started 2 without finishing 1. So
you're confused, got it.
Yeah. I mainly did it because of the opening scene, to be honest. The opening scene to 2, I'm just went, what the fuck just happened? But the game itself, like, 1 is very bulky. 3 to me feels very fluid because I own 3 and I started a little bit just to fill it out. It feels very fluid. So I'm very interested to see what you think on that one.
I'm just worried.
But
part of the reason that I like Dragon Age so much is that I get to customize my own character. Like, granted, with 2, I did play with pretty much the default Hawk, but it's because I really liked the way that he looked anyway. But I'm wondering if that's going to have an effect on how I end up seeing Mass Effect and something like The Witcher, because it's like, here's your character, especially with the first Mass Effect where there's no choice, you're the dude, and then
no, you have a choice.
Do you? I thought that started in 2. I thought it was 2 and 3 that you got the choice of being the lady ship.
No, I believe it's both. It's all 3.
Okay,
but it carries over. So whatever you do in 1 it goes over to 2. Now I will tell you this: my recommendation for you is to play these on console, because Mass Effect 1 does not have a controller capability for PC.
Well, damn, because it's PC. Well, I bet I can find a mod for it, though. Because I actually found a console mod for Dragon Age Origins, but then playing it with it, I was like, oh, the combat's just so garbage that this is not helpful. So maybe, Mass Effect being somewhat a shooter will probably be a little different. I'm sure I can find Nexus mods for the one you guys.
Yeah, it took me a little bit. It doesn't take long to get used to the controls, though. It's just a third-person version, and you're so used to playing like WoW and things like that, you'd probably be better about it than I would.
Yeah, but if it's got shooter aspects, I'm garbage at shooters with PC controls, like mouse and keyboard with shooters.
Okay, fair point.
Not me. Now I can have the conversations with the mouse and keyboard just fine.
Yeah, it's a lot easier that way. I liked it, but it's Mass Effect. I'm very interested to see what you think on that one, because I think that, and I'm also interested to see which way you go, because in the first one, romancing wise, you don't have a whole lot of options that are there.
Right. Well, it's the same thing with Dragon Age.
The second one, what they did a really good job of is they made it to where you can't romance the same people from the first. So there's not a carried on relationship.
That's weird.
Yeah,
I understand if it was like a different person, but it's like you guys broke up and that's just it. Aww.
Yeah, well, part of it's because, not because of what happened in the first one, just because life goes on, that those people aren't characters that you can romance. Like, they're not part of your ship, maybe, right? Part of your crew or whatever.
That actually makes me really sad.
Well, it actually works out really good for the plot line based on what they do. And I'll tell you now, my favorite character of all the Mass Effect series, it might be because he's in every single one of them, is Joker, which is Seth Green's character, Seth Green
he's
plays himself,
anyway.
this sarcastic asshole, right? So it's just kind of like, it's great. But he's the pilot of your ship, so he's badass. But any game that ends up bringing Martin Sheen in eventually as a voice actor, you got to give props to. So
I'm looking forward to it. I just know it's gonna be a little while. Like, everybody who's listening, don't expect for me to come back next week and go, hey, guess what? I started Mass Effect 2 or Mass Effect, because we got like a billion things. I've still got a bunch of, like, a long way to go. I don't know how long how many hours I've put into Origins, but I am not even close to the end. And then
that's the way I feel with Darksiders too. Like, I feel like I've put more hours into that one than I did the first one, but I know I'm nowhere close to the end.
See, that one I didn't feel like it didn't feel that long to me. Like, it felt like a good average playtime for that one.
Well, I'm just wondering if it's one of those where I feel like I'm not near the end and the end's going to happen.
Oh, well, that's also a possibility.
Compared to the other one, because the other one, like, you had all these devices and stuff you end up picking up along the way and things like that, and I'm just kind of like, I feel like this one I'm not picking up as many or something, and just that type of thing. So I don't know.
I think if you've made it past the ghost ship, I think you're over halfway.
Okay, I've made it past. I might be on the ghost ship, or I just made it past it.
It seems like for me that was around the halfway mark.
Yeah,
but I could be wrong about that.
Some of the combat on that, I'm starting to almost throw shit.
What? No.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like, okay, I got to take a break, that type of thing. But I'm enjoying it. Like I enjoy, like for those that don't know, I'm a big Crow fan. I love the movie The Crow, everything on it. The bad guy from The Crow plays Death. So it's like, to me, it's like his voice to me, who's just like, I love evil characters. Like Darth Vader is my favorite character from Star Wars. Love Kylo Ren. Like, it's just, if they're the bad guy, I'm usually a big fan of them. So it's like, in this case, his voice, and it's just like awesome, fantastic. So I'm enjoying that part of it. But I'm glad you're enjoying.
I am.
Your Dragon Age.
The voice thing too is getting me though, because this series is very incestuous with its voice actors, and like I'll be walking around town and there are certain ones that I love to death, like Cullen's voice actor, whose name escapes me right this second, and I know it, he's been like 4 or 5 different people. Cullen's in this game, he's been in all of them, by the way, but he's been 4 or 5 different people.
To be honest, you went to the other 2 just so you could hear Cullen, right?
No, it's weird. You deal with him very briefly in this one. So he's only there for like a little bit, and then you move on. And I haven't finished. He may end up being in play later. But then in 2, he's there for a while. You deal with him for a little bit. And then in 3, he's a major player. Well, Inquisition, he's a major player. But having him be voice actors for other, like he was a street thug in one of the places that I ended up. And I'm like, wait a minute. You sound way too proper to be a street thug. Cullen, get out of here. He was a merchant, this, that, and the other. Like, and some of the other ones too, like the guy that is an Inquisition that you meet at the very beginning, and he doesn't like you because he's with the Chantry, and I cannot remember his name. I can't remember anybody's names today. He's all over all of the games. I'm like, oh my god, that's so-and-so. It's that guy. Oh my god, it's that guy again. Roderick? Chancellor Roderick? Something like that. I keep hearing him. And it's because they reuse the same voice actors, because you're on a budget, obviously, especially in the earlier games. So they're like, okay, well, we need you to be this guy, and we need you to read for this, and this, and this. Nobody will notice, surely. I'm like, I noticed. I know who you are.
I know that voice.
It's so weird. Other games have not, like, I've never noticed it as much in other series as I have with this series. And I know it happens. I know they all share, but this one is just, for some reason, way more noticeable, I guess.
Maybe part of it's because when it first started, this was kind of like the jump start to maybe some of their careers. And then you get to the second one, and they're like, yes, because you helped me get my career. And then the third one, they're like, yes, because you helped me get my career even further. I mean, maybe? Maybe. Well, I mean, some of them, like, that is the major high point, I would say, in their career. Like the voice actor for Cullen, like that's his most notable role, is Cullen, and he's freaking good at it, obviously. But yeah, I mean, I guess it is something like that. Either that, or they reused or managed to reuse a lot from like the first game into the second, and they're like, well, since you're already here, why don't you come back and do Inquisition? So maybe it was something like that. I don't know. Maybe. Could be.
I played a lot of that. I had I wish that I could record things like this, because I had Foxy over for New Year's, and she is mainly a PC gamer. She does a lot of World of Warcraft stuff, but when she comes over to my house, she always wants to play on console.
I've heard stories.
She tried GTA
Oh
5.
my god. Hey, at least it's third person. Well, can be.
It is third person. She was playing it third person, that's fine. But the problem is like, okay, she didn't have a problem that much with the shooting at the start, like the North Yankton part, and then you get into the meat of the story. And one of the first things that you do once you're in Los Santos is you're Franklin and Lamar are repoing 2 sports cars, and you have to like keep up with Lamar to get back to the shop. Watching her try to figure out how to drive was just it's hilarious, but at the same time you're like, oh my god, just hit the handbrake. It was so funny and stressful. And talk about throw shit, like, she has a good time until she's frustrated and stuck in something, and that was very difficult for her. Oh man, that's pretty great though. She finally made it, and she can't hand me the controller. Well, she can, but she plays inverted. I'm like,
Why?
That's garbage.
Why do people do this? Look,
her rationale is that her father is in the Air Force and she used to like play with his flight simulators and stuff like that, which is all inverted controls. And so that's just how her brain thinks of it, is like flight controls. So in her defense, I guess that's okay. It just means that like I make her play on a separate account now on my Xbox than my regular one, because I will forget and I'll be like, what's going on with my, oh yeah, okay, yeah, Foxy was here. Got it. Yeah. So I make her play on a separate account so I don't have to worry about changing.
I have a friend that does the same thing with Halo. Like, he and I've gone through. We used to play. He'd come over to the house. Actually, very similar to how our gaming friendship started. He'd come over to the house, and we'd play Halo together, and we'd go through the entire campaign or whatever it happened to be, and we'd go through and. If everybody remembers the original Halo, you could set up the separate accounts or whatever and all that. So he set up his account, and it was inverted, and it drives me crazy. I was like, why do you play that way? And so we tried one time to swap accounts. So he had to play the regular way, and I had to play inverted.
I can't do it. I can't.
We never did that again. I did beat him, but we would never do that again. So it was bad. It was so bad, and I get it. I understand the whole concept of the flight simulator and all that but it makes sense to me in a plane. Like, it would drive me nuts to get in a plane simulator and it be the same way it was walking a person, right? But my head, if I push a certain way, I expect my head to go that way.
See, I can't even think of it in a plane situation like that, because I think it does. There's one game that auto-inverts when you get into planes, and I instantly crash every fucking time.
I think it's Saints Row. I think Saints Row goes to inversion.
I think it does. That might be it. But instantly I get in something and I'm like, wham! Oh, yeah, that's right.
But see, I think of it in plain sight because of the stick. Like she was talking about. You pull back on the stick, what happens to the plane? The plane goes up. So I get that. I get that. I don't get that with a head. If I pull back on the stick, my head's not going up. It's just not. It doesn't make sense to me.
It cracks me up because she got frustrated with one of the other games. I let her play, before, when she was here last time, she visited a couple of months ago too, I let her play Infamous Second Son, and she got really upset. She's like, how do you run and shoot? It doesn't make any sense. I'm like, because if you stand still and shoot, you're a target. You're the easy target. Like, you have to move. And it just didn't make sense to her to run and shoot. She could not do it. I was like, I'm sorry. It's just how video games are. You have to run and shoot. You have to
learn to adapt. I mean, that's the thing too. I was thinking about this the other day because I started off. I started off with Atari originally, but then I ended up with from go to an 8-bit style game like a Nintendo or whatever. The games were less forgiving because we didn't have a save point of any point, right? So you'd go through and you had to learn the rhythm of the game in order to be able to play. And what Mario did really well was you knew that if you got to the second world, that you could warp to a world, right?
Right.
So I think that gave us kind of that option, but there were people that played all the way through the game, which I've played all the way through that game once, and the rest of the time I warped. So, you took your little shortcut that was on there. But I think with newer games, like when we use Second Son, for instance, with those newer games that are on there, the mechanics are more complicated because of everything we're doing. But the game is more forgiving. So we can go through, and like you were talking about, the running part of it, moving and being able to shoot, we've figured out because it's more realistic. If in real life I'm running and shooting, it's harder for you to hit me.
Right.
It's also harder for me to shoot you, but I'm the one pointing the guns. So it's a whole lot easier. Versus originally playing through the 8-bit, there wasn't a 3-dimensional world to move through. So you didn't have that option that was on there. And I think it's really interesting to me, like that her concept of it, because she plays something like World of Warcraft, which I don't know what class she normally plays, but
priest. Her main is a priest.
Okay, so she
stands and heals.
She stands and heals, so it's like she's used to standing and healing and doing all that type of stuff. Where you would have other people that would have to move to do their particular part.
I don't fault her for that. Like, that's just how that class works. If you move, you're not casting.
But it makes you wonder, because she's trained on that particular part, if that changes how she games on everything else.
It does. Like, one of the other things she got really frustrated with in Second Son is there's no health meter. It's around the corners of your screen, you know, it flashes and everything. Yep. She got so frustrated with that. Like, how am I supposed to know how many times they're going to hit me before I die? And oh my God, she kept dying. And I was like, Foxy, how many times, like, and this was a legitimate conversation that I had with my best friend. I said, Foxy, how many times can I punch you in the face before you pass out? And she's like, I don't know. I was like, exactly. You just have to let it happen and find out. I was like, that's how it works. It gives you warnings. It's on the side of the screen, but it doesn't tell you, because that's part of the immersion of the game. I was like, a lot of games are like this because they want you to immerse and they don't want you to be looking at a health bar. They want you to be thinking, I need to live.
Right.
So,
well, I mean,
she was a little upset that I asked how many times I could punch her in the face.
Most games have moved to this. Like, even your Call of Duties, things like that, they've moved to where...
Well, it's the screen blur, the screen red.
Yeah, you learn to hide. It's like, oh my God, I can't see. I need to hide. If I was in real life and I couldn't see, what do I need to do? I need to hide.
And I mean, I'm not faulting her. Yeah, I'm not faulting her for this, like, mindset, because World of Warcraft has been one of her main games as far as her gaming career goes, and she's played a lot of other MMOs and stuff, so she's used to having this health bar and this stand here and cast and things like that, and so run and shoot and pay attention to your surroundings are kind of newer concepts for her, I guess. So I'm not going to fault her for that. She's a new gamer. She bought an Xbox One for Christmas.
What games did she get for the Xbox One for Christmas?
She didn't mention it. I know her main reason for getting it was that she wanted to have access to Netflix in her living room instead of having to watch it on her PC. So she bought a console to do that with. But I sent her a list of stuff that I think that she would enjoy and stuff that we can co-op. I was like, you know, we can co-op stuff like Saints Row, because she bought a 360 and we did co-op Saints Row 3 on 360, and that's, to me, I feel like that's kind of an easier one to get into the whole running and shooting, and the driving. Not that you need to drive in Saints Row 4, because it's mostly flying. Go superpowers. Right. But stuff like that, like, and I'm like, it'll probably, like, she played a little bit of Fallout while she was here. The only downside with Fallout is I know what she's going to do, is she's going to try to solely rely on VATS, because that auto-targets. I'm like, nope, you want to be sparing with that, because if you're fighting a rad roach and you use up all of your action points for VATS, and then a Deathclaw shows up, you fucked. So you better learn how to shoot instead of relying solely on VATS. But I know that was a big selling point for Fallout for her. Which, by the way, she got me a bunch of Fallout pint glasses for Christmas. Oh, that's awesome. That was one of my other things from her. Yeah, she was very generous this Christmas, and I'm like, I'm poor. Here's a cookbook. Yeah.
Which I got a cookbook for Christmas as well, and I'm very excited about it.
Well, she also got the World of Warcraft cookbook. So she got the same cookbook that you got that I made, and then she got the World of Warcraft one as well, because I had ordered it at Thanksgiving before I had a bunch of emergency stuff pop up that I had to spend money on. So, yeah.
I got Grifsapes. We're good.
That's what I should have called it. I should have called it the Grifsapes book.
Grifsapes.
I can't even say it right. Grifsapes. Jeez.
That's good. So, did you get anything else good for Christmas? Did you get anything gaming related for Christmas? Wait. What are you sitting in right now?
I got a new chair.
Yeah.
You can't really see it,
I'm uber jealous of this chair, by the way.
I had to. Okay, here's the deal. I was playing Dragon Age, and my desk is a little higher than most, so I usually have my chair almost all the way as high as it'll go. So I'm playing, and after a little, like an hour or two, I drop a little, and I was like, that's weird. A little while later, drop a little more, and then I drop again. I'm like, oh my God. So not only was it squeaking like it was on its last leg anyway, it was squeaking every time you moved. But then the canister, the hydraulic canister went on, and that I've had that chair for like 6 years. So to be fair, it's lasted a really fucking long time. It was like $50. I was like, fine, I'm gonna upgrade. So I bought an actual gaming chair, and it is super nice.
Yeah, I wanted it. That's fine. I had a choice to ask for Christmas, because I usually just ask for one thing for Christmas, because if you ask for multiple things for Christmas, you don't know what you're getting. But if you ask for one thing, they don't have a choice, right? So I learned this a long time ago.
That's not how it works in my house.
Yeah, so my choices to ask for were a new gaming chair, which I knew I would have got immediate no from my wife on that one. So I ended up asking for an acoustic bass, So for those of you who don't know, I do play guitar, bass, other stuff at one time as a music ed major. So the bass is what I ended up getting, and I'm really glad that I ended up with the bass, but I'm really jealous of your chair.
To be fair, I got this one on like super sale on Amazon because I had ended up buying it right after Christmas, so it was like $100.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So
You know.
maybe you can find a super sale too, and then you won't,
Yeah, well, and I want one because I moved all my recording stuff for the guitar, bass, all that stuff, and I moved it into the spare bedroom that's down here and downstairs where I do all the recording stuff. And so that way it was separate from the PC because I do all that on my Mac, and I put it in another room, but there's no chair. So, so I have to pick up this chair and move it into the other room in order to be able to do anything. So it's like I need 2 chairs. So I'd move this in there and then use this one. I'd use one like that for gaming. They do make a purple one too, by the way. I checked.
I saw there was one that I was considering that was yellow and black. And Chicken saw it because I had it pulled up on Amazon, and he's like, "That looks god awful." I was like, "That's Hyperion colors. Get out! I love it." But it had worse reviews. So this one had really good reviews, and then that one was like, "This one fell apart, and the cushions are flat now, and it's been 2 months." And I'm like, "Okay, this one's really pretty, but I'll go with the red one."
Stereotype.
I wanted that Hyperion chair though. Damn it!
Oh, I'm sure you did.
Anything that's Handsome Jack approved, and it would have been. Had it not been so shitty. That's okay, though. That's okay.
Why do you have to be so shitty? I don't understand. What is the deal with this? Why must you be so shitty?
Well, that was one of the games that I suggested to Foxy that we could co-op was Borderlands. And it's not because I think that she would have the easiest time learning it, but because it's one that I know super well, and she could play a character that had basically a minion that could go and do everything for her. And selfishly, so that I could play Borderlands.
And I finally finished that game.
Did you? Oh wait,
No.
You mean you would want to join in? Oh, okay, see what you're saying.
I can finally finish the game. I'd have a reason to play it.
I figure she'll play Gage, so she can have Death Trap just like go out and she'll feel like she's accomplishing a whole bunch of stuff, and I'll just be off
I started
to the
with
side.
Vald. I think I started with Vald.
You
on
did?
That one. Yeah, I started with that, and then I don't even know if the Xbox One's been turned on in nearly a month, to be honest. Because
You better turn it on well before you intend to play then, because I think it's got a massive update waiting.
Oh, great.
Mine took forever to update. I was like, oh, damn it.
Yeah, well, and then we're part of the used to be called the preview program. Now it's called the something else program.
Oh, did they change the name of it? I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know. They changed the name of it, but we still get everything first, whatever it is. Which I'm pretty sure everybody's part of the preview program, so it really doesn't make sense.
Yeah, at this point it's like everybody. So it's just the program, like it's just Xbox now.
Yeah, part of the program done.
Yeah.
I
Well,
guess.
that one, my Xbox had a huge update, and I finally plugged my PS4 into the online stuff, and it downloaded for like half an hour. I was like, I just need to record Let's Plays because I'm in the middle of The Last of Us, and then I have to wait forever for updates. And then I have to apply the updates. That is one of the worst things about the new consoles. It's like, here's the update. It's huge. It takes forever to download. It takes forever to apply. We're going to restart your system like 3 times. And then we're going to update the game that you put in right after we update your console.
Right. Yeah, we have to update the game because we just updated the console.
Yes. Yes.
That's the way it works.
Just no, I'm tired of updating. That's why for a long time I just don't plug it into the internet. I'm like, just no. I'll wait.
This is the other thing I got, which was A40s, which this is not a Christmas present. This was, I lucked out and won these.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I won these from one of the streamers that I watch a lot of, and you've heard me say it on the show before, which is X Minx. She does this little spinning wheel thing after a certain amount of subscribers are on, and so I actually won these, and they're excellent. I got a choice between ones for PlayStation 4 that will also work on PC, or ones for Xbox One that'll work on PC. Well, my other ones work with my PlayStation fine, my Turtle Beach ones, but they don't work with my Xbox all that great, even though they're supposed to. So I went with these so that way I could use them for my Xbox too. So it's like I have options that are there. Sound quality wise, they're really good. It's 7.1 surround sound that's on them. They sound excellent. the cool thing is too, they've got like a little amplifier thing that comes with it that you can readjust.
That's huge.
You're right, it's massive. But like this adjusts your volume, like your regular volume that's on here. But if you're playing with somebody, you can actually move where you hear the voice more, or you can move where you hear the game more. So
you can be like, shut up and just listen to the game.
Yes, exactly. So
that's how I would, roll most of the time. People be like, Grif. She's not listening. Nope. Listen to the game. Sorry, guys.
So it's cool though, because you have the built-in equalizer thing that's on there too. Amp. That's pretty neat. I really like them. I've never used anything by Astro before, so it was kind of cool to see. And I immediately went in and tried to find accessories for them, because you can change out the little plates and change the colorings. And all that
my God!
For it. I did not buy any of it. I just looked at it. Okay.
To buy later. Got it.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But I got those for just before Christmas, so that was pretty awesome. I did spend a week in Orlando, which was an interesting week. It was nice and warm, and then I flew back into town and wrecked my truck.
What? Really?
Yep. Flew back into town. It was we actually I guess it was what's today? Sunday? Okay, yeah. That tells you how my day was. Friday, my flight wasn't scheduled to go out until 6 p.m. Eastern time. They had ended up getting delayed till 6:35, but we actually didn't leave until 6:45. And that was because it was late coming in from Houston. We got on the plane, flew to Birmingham, spent 30 minutes outside of Birmingham in the plane going through a holding pattern, and then they were telling us that they could not get the amount of snow off of the runway, which had the best explanation ever, which is most places can prepare for snow, but if you know Birmingham, Billy Bob
or the South in general.
Yeah, Billy Bob with his tractor can't really can't pull the snow off quick enough. So we ended up flying to Nashville, staying there for 1 hour while Birmingham got cleared off, and then flew back to Birmingham. We got into Birmingham. I got on the road and immediately went to a hotel. All hotels locally near the airport were completely booked.
Well, yeah, because everybody can't leave.
And I was sliding all over the road to get there. So then I had to figure out another option. So I drove 25 miles for 2 hours.
Yep.
In the ice. It
was garbage.
Yeah, total ice. Ended up hitting a guardrail. Didn't really hurt the truck, thank God. Ended up pulling out and getting 25 miles down the road where there were 6 hotels, all had vacancies, and was safe for the night. But I was scared out of my mind. It was the worst video game ever. I'm just saying that now.
Well, that's everything about real life. It is the worst video game ever.
Yes. RL does. I like VR better than I do RL.
Like graphics in real life, great. Gameplay, not so much.
Yeah.
Plot could use some help.
Few jackknife rigs, they can handle ice for some reason.
I just I left work at noon on Friday. This is how it is, guys. I don't know if you saw my Twitter or not, because I went on a little rant about it, but if they say snow, which is the S word around here, everybody loses their damn minds. Everybody runs out to the grocery store, and I don't know why I'm telling you this on a video game podcast, but here we are. Everybody runs out to the grocery store and buys bread and milk, and then that's pretty much it. Everything else is just fine. Bread and milk sold out completely. And they'll do that 24 hours in advance, and we were predicted to get between 1 and maybe 3 inches of snow at the most. And I left work at noon on Friday because honestly people were going to be crazy, and it had already been sleeting a little in the morning. When I left work, I got stuck in traffic on the way over one of the bridges because we don't have salt trucks here because snow is not a big deal. We sand everything, and for some reason the snow was supposed to get there at around 4 or 5. They were sanding the bridges at lunchtime. So everybody's freaking out because not only can we not figure out how to merge, we all have to look at it because, oh my God, they're putting sand down. What is that? Stop.
Well, I found out from a friend of mine that actually works with road crews. There's a saline solution they put down with the sand. So it's not just sand. You and I are on the same page. I thought total sand.
But it doesn't help if they put it down that early and everybody's driving over it and blows it off the bridge before the snow even gets anywhere near us.
Are you trying to think logically right now?
What? No, I know, right? Well, and it gets even better because where I live, I'm like, in my neighborhood, I am the last house before a big giant hill that goes down into another subset of the neighborhood. So basically what we got to do on Friday night is after it started really snowing, we stood out in the yard and watched people try to get up the hill because it's people in like cars and, you know, all rear wheel drive stuff, little cars, things like that. And this hill, I'm not kidding. It's not, you know, oh, no big deal. It's like a climb to get up it when the roads are dry. And these people think they're going somewhere while it's iced over. No, we just watched people, like, some guy tried and he would back up further every time and try to get a running going. It's like, no, this is not, he had to give up. He tried for like 45 minutes and then he had to give up. It was just like, where are you even going right now? It's snowing and this town is pretty well shut down. What are you thinking? Oh, that was my entertainment for Friday.
But we're all okay. So anybody that was worried about us during this whole thing.
They declared a state of emergency.
We're all okay. We still have ice on the road, so.
The snow is pretty much melted. Like, it's Sunday. It came down on Friday night. It's already pretty much gone. Everybody freaked out, though.
I still have neighbors, and actually my back deck, it's all covered in snow.
Not our house.
It's like nothing else. Like, front yard doesn't look like it's even snowed a day. Backyard,
moral of the story is,
different.
If it's snowing, especially in the South where nobody knows how to deal with it, stay inside and play video games. It's your best bet.
Yes, just play more video games. We're good.
Well, is there anything
but if
I know?
they ever come out with the Ice Road Truckers, I'm not playing that game. It's not happening.
Well, I know we didn't have a whole lot of news. Really, there's just nothing going on right now. It's the beginning of the year and whatnot. So that's pretty much it. I got some Let's Plays to record.
5 days we have the information on Nintendo Switch, I think, that's coming out. So that's about it. So next week we should have some news.
Oh, and Zelda Breath of the Wild. Sorry, I was like, Breath of the Wild has its March release date back. So it should launch alongside the Switch, but not for Europe. Just for Japan and the US as of right now, or North America rather. So Europe, you're still up in the air, but that's because of localization and they're worried about not having all of the languages in place. Sorry about that. Watch the thing on the Switch on the 13th, and I'm sure we'll find out more.
That's interesting.
Well, they only have like 1 billion languages. You're talking about Europe.
I'm sorry.
Got, like,
they should have thought of that ahead of time before they decided to do a March release date.
Well, that's where that's at. So sorry, Europe. Hopefully they'll have more news for you on that once we get to whatever is it the Nintendo Direct? Is that where they're doing that at? I don't know.
It's the I'm assuming so. It'll be the Nintendo Switch reveal event, which is January 13th.
Yeah, so watch that. Maybe we'll find out more. Maybe you guys won't get screwed over, and if you do, I'm really sorry.
So definitely awesome.
Yep.
I'm excited about that.
Yep.
So. Anything
you should
else?
Also be excited. Go to YouTube, watch my Let's Plays. It's great. I throw things at people that I don't mean to. I set myself on fire a few times. This past week, I put up a video where things started running at me for no reason. I was like, I just get the worst luck when I'm recording these things for you guys. Anything I can do wonderfully when I'm by myself, if I'm trying to show anybody, it's garbage. So, enjoy my misery. My pain is there for you. So, yeah. I'm going to have more of those up this week. Chicken and I were going to start a co-op Let's Play. He's sick. So that's not happening this week.
That'd be great. You could play it and it'd be, yeah, I got disorder.
No, I would not even I am not evil enough to try to force him to play right now. He is so sad and sick. So we will, and I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. I'll wait till we can talk about it together. So soon we will have more than just me on the YouTube again. Don't worry. Side questing will start back. Hopefully whenever Baka's around, because I don't know what Red's schedule is like, and I don't think it would be as good with just me and Chicken, especially since right now he's sick. So that'll be soon. Other than that, hit up the website, infiniterespawn.com, watch our Twitter, and I'll try to keep everybody updated on everything. Go team.
Yay, go team. Next week I will start streaming again.
Okay.
So I'll have that, and everybody will have that to look forward to.
Comcast hasn't fixed our shit yet. We're still talking to them, by the way. So for our streaming,
I am looking at as possibility of streaming maybe 2 or 3 times during the week, if I stream 2 or 3 times during the week, our Infinite Respawn channel actually does automatically host me. So it'll at least pull that up so we'll have some type of content until y'all get your stuff fixed.
Yep. Oh, and Chicken wanted me to mention God damn it. AGDQ, is that right? Let me look. I cannot get acronyms. I can't remember names or acronyms today. Yes, AGDQ. So since we're not streaming, that will be all this week from today, which is Sunday, on until next Saturday. Speed running, great cause, 24 hours a day. So there's always going to be somebody to entertain you. Yay.
Yay.
And they don't have lag issues because they are probably not streaming through Comcast.
I'm very doubtful.
I'm only a little bitter about this. Only a little.
Little bit?
A little bit. But yes, watch that. Chicken sent me a text so that I could remember to mention it, and I just saw it. Thanks, Chicken. He's hosting this, so he's here in spirit, so he knows that I was about to forget. Thanks.
Make sure you go on to twitch.tv/Infinite Respawn PC. Join there. Hang out once they do get up and running. And then you can also follow me at MDB Oak Tree, which I'll start again next week. And then make sure you check out our Twitter as well, twitter.com/Infinite Res PC. And you check me out personally. Wow, words. At MDB Oak Tree. Check out Grif.
At Grif's Lineham.
You can check out Chicken at Elite Chicken 313, and you can check out Baka, who hopefully will be back soon, at Baka Pickle as well. Go on there and send good get well wishes to Chicken, and then also tell Baka how much you love him as well.
Yep. Spread the love, everybody, because those two definitely need it.
No kidding. So, but for Infinite Respawn, I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Grif.
See ya.
That was weird. There's no extra people.
I know. This is old school right here.
Bye.
Bye.
Please hang up and try again.